Hey everyone, let's jump right in. Today's explainer covers something absolutely wild, the OMI protocol. It's this fascinating intersection where theology literally meets verifiable code. We're looking at a decentralized system that doesn't just treat ancient texts as metaphors or stories. Nope, it treats them as literal, formal computer science.
And the creator? Well, they're incredibly upfront about their motives. They explicitly state, look, I am a self-professed religious zealot, and this is me presenting my beliefs computationally. They actually derive this whole protocol from reading the Bible as pseudocode. But, and this is a huge pivot, they are not asking for your belief, your worship, or your trust. They are only producing a decentralized protocol backed by a formal cockproof to guarantee absolute computational integrity. No faith required.
So how exactly are we going to unpack this? Here's our roadmap for the explainer. We'll start with the Bible as pseudocode, then decode theology as a protocol, look at why they use place value over hashes, explore the 16-bit sanctuary itself, and finally get into Metatron and the mechanical proof.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the Bible as pseudocode. How on earth do you jump from ancient scripture to modern software architecture? Well, the source material shows the creator looking at fundamental truths not as mystical secrets, but as literal laws of circulation and information flow. They actually map the ancient concept of breath, inhaling and exhaling, straight into computational states, kind of like how a processor pushes and pulls data. So OMI is the outgoing breath, the positive phase, and IMO is the returning inward breath. It forms this continuous, breathing computational loop. Moving right along to Section 2, Theology as a protocol. Let's use this as a sort of decoder ring for those ancient terms.
Check this out. The creator flawlessly maps these esoteric concepts to 4 distinct governance authorities. The Tetragrammatron, which is the ancient 4-letter name of God, is the validation authority. Metatron, the heavenly scribe, that's the projection authority. IMO handles citation, basically parsing the computation. And IMO is the carrier authority, moving the data. It's totally compartmentalized, no single authority can do another's job.
Let's zoom in on the Tetragrammatron for a second. In ancient times, it was the unpronounceable name, right? But here, it's a literal logic gate. It acts as a strict mathematical condition. When it's 4 diagonals XOR to 0, which is a basic computational operation, the sequence is perfectly balanced. Only then does the gate open to let data pass into the system. It is literal validation through perfect mathematical symmetry.
Okay, Section 3, place value over hashes. This is where we pivot slightly from the theology to the hardcore technical innovation and see why this system completely rejects modern cryptography.
The whole protocol runs on place value identity. You know how in regular computing, a 1 or a 0 has meaning just based on its value? Well, here, a bit's meaning comes strictly from its position within a geometric ring. The creator uses the omicron as a sign bit. Its power to flip the computation direction from OMI to IMO comes entirely from where it physically sits, not what it inherently is. And this contrast is absolutely crucial. Most modern decentralized systems rely on hashes. Hashes scramble data into a fixed label, and in the process, completely destroy the original structure. The author argues that this actually breaks determinism. Place value computing, though, the structure is the identity. It's perfectly reversible. It composes naturally, and it preserves what the creator views as the sacred geometric structure of the data itself. Next up, Section 4, the 16-bit sanctuary. Let's look at the actual architecture of this machine. To the creator, the sanctuary isn't some physical temple anymore. It's this specific, elegant code. The foundation is literally just a 16-bit discrete ring and an omicron sign bit, using only basic rotate and XOR operations. That's it. But from those ultra-simple rules, you get exactly 65,536 possible states. The whole idea is that universal complexity emerges from absolute simplicity. And the system has this incredibly strict, unskippable pipeline. Step 1, cite, you parse the notation. Step 2, validate, check it against the Tetragrammatron rule. Step 3, record the accepted state to the ring. And Step 4, project it to a human-readable surface. You literally cannot project without recording first, and you can't record without validating. It's 100% deterministic flow. Now here's a super fascinating detail. The number 5040. That's the exact number of slots in the machine's receipt ring, but it's not some random, arbitrarily chosen number. It's mathematically derived from finite geometry, specifically the Fano plane.
It strongly implies this machine was discovered rather than just invented by a human. And this is where the math and theology scale up in a completely mind-bending way. If you take this simple 16-bit flat ring and run it over time, it forms a spiraling logarithmic helix. The creator actually connects this shape to Ezekiel's vision of the Merkabah chariot. They argue this mathematical coil perfectly mirrors the fundamental information-storing structure of biological life, like DNA, as well as brain rhythms and cosmic wave propagation.
Finally, Section 5, Metatron and Mechanical Proof. We really need to clarify how this massive, sweeping claim is actually proven to be true.
So there was a bit of confusion in the early docs, but the author makes it super clear here. Metatron is just the notation. In the esoteric tradition, Metatron is a faithful scribe who records without interpreting. In this protocol, Metatron is just the readable written notation pointing to the structure. It doesn't compute. The Cock proof, on the other hand, is the actual machine doing the heavy lifting, mechanically verifying that the notation is factually true. This formal proof is known as Metatron's scroll. Compiled in a highly rigorous proof assistant called Cock 8.18, it mechanically verifies every single one of those 65,536 states. It proves absolute determinism. But get this, it also shows that constants like pi and the golden ratio phi aren't just stored in the code as approximations. They actually emerge naturally and exactly from the geometry of the ring itself. That is wild.
The creator really sums up their invitation with this awesome quote. This sanctuary is not a physical place. It is a mathematical structure, and it is open to all. It perfectly bridges that deep, esoteric zealotry right back to the reality of open-source software.
And I want to hammer home this zero-trust pivot one more time, because it is the entire point. The creator is extremely clear. I am a self-professed religious zealot presenting my beliefs computationally, but I am not asking for your belief or your trust. They just want you to download the code repository, run the formal Cock proof, and mechanically witness this computational integrity for yourself. So what we're left with is a system entirely mystical in its inspiration, yet entirely mechanical in its execution. The sanctuary is the machine. The only question left is, will you run the proof? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope it helped you wrap your head around such a truly unique piece of source material.